Welcome to Be Truly Heard with me, coach and voice expert Anne Leatherland. If you're a woman in business looking to speak with authority, warmth and authenticity, this is the podcast for you. We'll explore valuable personal growth strategies alongside vocal skills, so you can overcome confidence barriers and communicate what's inside. Your voice matters. It's time to be truly heard. Hello and welcome back to Be Truly Heard. I'm Anne Leatherland, voice teacher and personal growth coach. And today I'm joined by the wonderful Vic Taylor, who's a marketing strategist, author of The Six-Figure Niche and founder of the Young Hustle Hub. Before creating her own business, Vic built a successful career in corporate and knows firsthand the challenges of being a woman in those spaces. In this episode, then, we'll explore what she learned there, how those experiences shaped her mission, and the practical ways she helps early stage founders reach 100K faster with clarity, confidence, and community. Welcome, Vic. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Anne. What a lovely intro. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. So you've had a successful corporate career before launching your own business. What was the experience like for you as a woman in those corporate environments?
Oh gosh, we're going straight in at the deep end, aren't we? This
We
is good.
are,
I
yeah.
love it. Yes.
This is what it's all about.
Yeah. We're not messing about. Well, the first 15 years of my career, so out of the 25 years to date, the first 15 were zigzagging in and out of corporate, with starting my own businesses, then going back into corporate, starting my own business, going back into corporate. And I think the majority of things that I learned was in corporate, you generally tend to be a number. And so when we talk about this in the context of voice, it can be very difficult to raise your head above the parapet from time to time. And I guess thinking back, a lot of the times that I had an opinion and wanted to put that forward in meetings, I probably bit my tongue a lot because I felt like it would be unheard if I would say something. I feel like I had more to give than people probably imagined. Yeah. But because of unknowing what the reaction would be, I kept quiet. And I think now in the last 10 years, to give you the other side of the coin, it's felt the opposite. I feel like if there's something to be said, I'll think about it and then I'll just make it and create it and put it out there and see how things land. I'm a lot more confident now in my own opinions and my own thoughts and creations than I was in corporate. Yeah, for sure.
This is an experience that I'm hearing about from lots of women, actually, not just in corporate, but even in other areas of business. And it's that thing of feeling sidelined or overlooked or unheard or scared to put your idea across in case you're judged or criticised. And it's an experience that many of us have as women. And I think it's great that you've actually felt better about that in the last 10 years. Has that coincided with your entrepreneurship of starting your own business?
It has. And I think on reflection of saying that out loud now, hearing that question and hearing my response, I guess the other element that runs alongside that is I have more of a maturity now. I have the experience that I built in my corporate career. So I'm hearing myself back and thinking, perhaps I did just need to go through that process of being told what to think to be able to then form my own decisions internally to then get to this point where I can choose what I put out there in terms of creations and things. So yeah, maybe it was a blessing and not a blessing in disguise, so that it's created who I am as a catalyst. Potentially. And there were people, thinking back, there were people in boardrooms that did take me seriously as well. So I can kind of say that with a caveat. Not everybody in corporate can be like, oh, Vic, we don't want to hear your opinion. There were people that did take me very seriously. So yeah, I think it's just on the whole, looking back, I think the majority of an internal feeling was, I've got to protect my opinions because they won't matter. I think that was the overall feeling. That was, then, like you said, a lot of people are saying this as well, so it probably rings true to that.
That's a really interesting viewpoint. We have to be objective about it as well, don't we?
Yeah.
I mean, there are people there who will support you and listen, but unfortunately also those who won't. But it's important to get the balance there. I think it's also true that we gain ways to put our ideas forward as we get that bit older and we've had that experience.
Yeah.
We've had to deal with difficulties, and therefore we're more confident about speaking about them later. I wonder if that's the same for men, just throwing something a little bit fizzy into the mix.
Good question. I don't know.
I don't know. It'd be interesting.
I guess it depends on the personality and whether they're kind of alpha or a little more like softer in personality. Therefore, they might feel the same.
And I think possibly age and experience might have something to do with it as well, as we've said. I'm just going with the stories that I've heard over the years from women in different situations. But it's good that you recognise that. So you transitioned into being an entrepreneur and stepped away from that corporate position. What was it that prompted that? What made you do that? Can you remember?
Yeah, I guess there was this zigzagging in the first 15 years anyway. There'd been various businesses that I'd built within that time. But then it was the first time that I stepped away from corporate London was to build my coffee shop in Surrey. And that became like the whole creation and the building within the community, building the business within the community, listening to what people wanted and creating something really unique. I think at the beginning of coffee shop culture was like, it just felt so fun to create something so special and quite an honour. And I got really involved with the local community. We did so much stuff. This is why we won so many awards, because people just recognised that we weren't just there to make money. We were there to build the community, because there wasn't a local hub within the village. And I think that feeling of creating that really sparked something inside me, that even when I had to step away from the coffee shop after 2 or 3 years, so that this was actually after a miscarriage, and I struggled with depression really bad. That sadly that's what happened, but luckily we had a lady who used to come in every night and bake our cakes for us, so that they were fresh every morning. And she used to say, I just love this. I have my key, I come in, I put my music on, I make the cakes, and then I go home. And at this point, couldn't even get off the sofa. I was so depressed and struggling mentally. She then bought the coffee shop off me, and then we took it to a different level. And she was just in her element to do that. So it kind of made that transition. And then that's when I moved back up to the Midlands. And what happened 10 years ago was, because of all my experience in digital marketing with websites, affiliate marketing, email marketing, blogging, social media, people started saying, Vic, could you just run this website? Could you just run this affiliate marketing for us? Could you just run my social media? And before I knew it, I was a few months in thinking, hang on, I'm telling everybody else you need to work on your branding, create your website, have your social media presence, and I've got nothing. And I really need to decide, am I 2 feet in? Am I going for this or not? And so that's when Touchpoints Marketing began. It's been 10 years and it's really morphed. So thinking about that journey of within the 10 years, I've gone from being a freelancer, not knowing how to set up, where do I go with HMRC? How do I set up my business? What insurances do I need? All of, contracts. Oh, okay. I don't really know how to dip my toe in the water with this. That was me 10 years ago, to then building an agency which had 4 or 5 staff. We had worldwide clients. We were doing marketing for people. And then when COVID struck, we lost 95% of clients within a week. They just said, like, the contract's there, but we just can't honour it. And at that point, it's like, you can't go legal because no point. And so what happened was I had a really good cry, actually. There's a YouTube video where I explain about, I've got like this like tears and snot and everything. I was so upset about, I don't know what I'm going to do now. I've got these staff, I've got no customers, what am I going to do? And what I did was I started to create lots of helpful content for businesses who were wondering, how am I going to pivot? What do I need to do about my marketing in this? I'm laying people off with furlough. What do I need to do to keep the marketing engine going myself? So what I did was created this course called the Marketing MOT, and I gave that away for free. And about 370 businesses took that up in COVID. And they'd say at the end, I actually didn't realise it was going to be that good. And so then they'd send me chocolates and wine and things in COVID. These things kept arriving at the door. It was lovely. But that wasn't the point. It was about helping people when they needed it and making a difference so that they could continue with their business. And so, it became something that our business model changed overnight. We started to create more content. We made the Marketing Mavericks program 4 years ago. That's helped over 400 students to now set up as marketing freelancers. So when you think about that full circle, it's what I didn't know 10 years ago. I am now helping businesses to get started with all of that information all in one place to just think, right, if I want to start my business, this is everything I need to know. So it's
brilliant.
Did that answer the question? I feel like I've gone really off track.
It did, yeah. No, it's really good. And it's fine. And thank you for sharing all of that with us. I mean, it's very often the times where we're lowest in life that we end up doing something that leads us to something much better. And I can identify times in my life when that's been the case. And I've gone on about them on the podcast before, so I won't go on about them here. But thank you for sharing all that with us, that out of those low points come new high points and growth.
Absolutely.
And that's vital. And I worked with you a number of years ago, Vic, and it was extremely useful for me and my business. And at the moment, I'm working through your book, The Six-Figure Niche, which is absolutely fantastic. And because I've done work with you before, some of it was familiar to me, but obviously I'm working through and it gets everything in one place. I love the fact that I can write in the book.
Good. I'm glad you do.
It goes against us to write in books, doesn't it?
A lot of people get nervous about that because they think, you've been told with library books you're not allowed to write in it. But I specifically make sections where you can write your answers.
That's right. And I've got all of my stuff in here then in one place. Nice. And it's in pencil, so I can go back and review and just change things as I want to. And it's so much more tactile than a digital thing.
Yes.
Or another folder, isn't it? So I can really recommend that book, folks, if you'd like to go and have a look at it and really get your thoughts clear about your business and getting your brand voice out there in a way that's helpful. And I know that you also now run the Young Hustle Hub. And just tell us briefly a bit about that, Vic, because I think that's an amazing thing that you do for community.
Thank you. Yeah, so the Marketing Mavericks program that I touched on was just for university students, and it was just for them to, if they wanted to go into marketing. So again, this comes down to pivoting and thinking, hang on a minute, the market's changed. What do we need to do? The same as COVID. We took a wider age range. So we now work with colleges and universities, and we've opened it up to reinvent the content to support somebody if they want to be a carpenter or a hairdresser or a personal trainer. We can then support somebody straight from college, because it can be, there's the university route, there's getting a job route, but there's also starting a business route at 18, 19 years old. And I wish somebody had told me this when I was that age, because I never knew at school, college or university that I could start my own business. So I really love it that colleges are now onboarding the Young Hustle Hub content so that they can roll it out to the students within the colleges. So this sits nicely alongside, because you mentioned Six Figure Niche, we mentioned Young Hustle Hub, and kind of they both support, and this is why it says education for entrepreneurs, is they both support people who need it at a different point. With Six Figure Niche, businesses are already trading, they're service-based, and they want to scale to 100K, or maybe not, because within the book it does say you may decide to stay below that threshold of £90,000 at this point, and you might decide to have a 3 or 4 day week instead, so that you can just enjoy your work-life balance rather than working harder and making 100K and taking on staff, etc. So there's the Young Hustle Hub and there's the Six Figure Niche, which sit alongside each other really nicely to support people depending on where they're at with their business growth.
I love that. And I think both of those things are so valuable. And if people would like to know more about them, of course, we'll put links to those in the program notes so that they can have a look. But go along to Vic's website as well, which is Touchpoints. Is it still Touchpoints?
So there is the Touchpoints website, but the easiest place to go is to sixfigureNiche.com to go and find out about that there. We are making amends to touchpointsmarketing.co.uk. So by the time somebody sees this, it might have updated to have Young Hustle Hub over there. Yes, brilliant. Work in progress. This is the thing. The cobbler's kids have the worst shoes, right?
They do. They do. Now, I must say, because it would be a terrible thing to miss, that you're working with me at the moment in the Be Truly Heard programme.
Yes.
Which is for businesswomen who want to speak with greater impact, authority, and keep their authenticity so that they can really get their message across. And it harks back to what you were saying about the corporate situation. I know that you don't feel so much like that now.
Yes.
And I know that you speak in an awful lot of places and you're very good at it.
Thank you.
What prompted you to want to take that further in joining Be Truly Heard? Because it's not necessarily just for people who are inexperienced, if you like, at speaking in public.
No. I think the nice thing is about what you've created is people can come in at any level. So somebody might think, I want to get into speaking, and it's going to help them accelerate faster. Or for somebody like me that has been speaking for a number of years, you know, online and in person, it's like flexing the muscle to make it stronger, isn't it? It's about getting better at something that you enjoy. So that in the same way that if you play golf and you're really good, you might still get a coach once a month because you think, I need to improve and make things better, make my swing better, my putting. So this is about, I think for me, it was about being able to understand things that I didn't know. Like you've taught me things on Be Truly Heard that I didn't even consider, like something as small as breathing. You've taught me how to breathe, Anne, because I know I joke about this, but I'm actually deadly serious because, so as you know, I've recently done the audiobook for Six Figure Niche. So I went into the studio, and this was something that you were actively supporting me with so that I could go in the studio and feel, for the first time doing an audiobook, to feel more confident, to know what to do if I make a mess of it, how to breathe and how to space things out so that as I'm doing it, I'm feeling comfortable. Mm-hmm. I think, well, what you taught me was we breathe in here, don't we? We're like, most of the time. But actually, when we take a really lovely deep breath, and this is what I had to do in the, this is what I learned, but this is what I then gave myself permission to do in the recording studio, is to really, in between, like, you know, each page I might have done 4 deep breaths in between what I was saying. And I think what I would have probably done had I not known this is just read it really fast, like, blah, 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 like Short Circuit. Do you remember Short Circuit?
I do.
Johnny 5. So I think that's what I would have done. And I think I'd have been really, because, you know, you have a producer in your ear, and I'd be thinking, well, I don't want them to think that I'm faffing about if I'm breathing. Don't want them to think, what are you wasting time for? You know, time is money, we're on the clock. But actually, I had to, because also quite a lot of cortisol is working at this point as well. Like my whole system is like, oh my gosh, I'm making my audio book. This is massive. So it's
Exactly.
about calming my nervous system as well. I mean, I was thoroughly enjoying it. I woke up that day and it felt like Christmas morning. I was so excited. But it's the vital things that if you don't know, unconscious incompetence, you don't know what you don't know. And by doing the Be Truly Heard, what it's given me already, in the first 2 or 3 months is the understanding about even like the biology of our throats, how to look after them. Even this morning, I was doing my zzz, zzz, all of my warm-up routine before this because I'm a good student. And
You are indeed, you are.
Gold star. So we've moved my mother-in-law in to live with us for a bit. And she was literally like, what are you actually doing? What is all these noises you're doing? Joking with me like. And I said, it's my warm-up because I'm being interviewed at 10 o'clock and, we have morning voice and I have to, So I'm doing all these, stretching around and all this. She must have thought, oh gosh, what have I arrived into?
No, but it makes a difference though, Vic, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
And the v and the zizzing, as I've said in podcasting here, is something that takes that breath and links it with the voice itself. So you've learned that you need to take that breath reset just to calm your nervous system and get the breath low enough so that you can then re-engage it so it can interact with your voice in the way that you need it to. And that's vital.
Yeah, because it makes such a difference. There was an example where I'd started Be Truly Heard and then I'd got a speaking gig. And I was speaking, I came back into the group and I said to you and everybody else, well, I did okay because everybody came up at the end and was like, oh, that was really good. But I wasn't happy because this. And actually you broke it all down and you said, well, this is because of that. And this is because of that. And I think it sounds like this is because of that. So what that did was make me think, okay, in future, I need to make sure that is in place and that is in place and that is in place. And then when I turn up, I won't be flustered or trying to get everything out in one go, or just being able to have the control of the room, which I think I already had, but in a different way. It's a different level of respect when we speak at the front and we take a breath. It's game changing, I think.
It really is. And it gives almost imperceptible signals to the audience that you're completely in charge, that you're in authority, that you know what you're doing. We react to breath and to breathing sounds. So it's a perception thing as well. There's so much to it. It's not just breathing in and out, but how we coordinate that with the voice and how that affects our nervous system. As you've said, you've got the idea. Anyway, we could go on about this all day, I'm sure, but I have similar feelings about the work I did with you in terms of you breaking things down and making them clearer for me and my being able to grow and move on then with my business work.
Nice.
So I love that.
Yeah, reciprocal positivity in both ways.
Yeah, we're having a reciprocal thing today, but I think we need to as women because we need to hold each other up.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately that's what gives us the confidence that we need and the ability to say, I'm worthy and what I have to say is worthwhile.
Yeah, it's worth your time stopping to listen.
It is, absolutely. Oh, well, thanks so much, Vic, for sharing your story and your wisdom. And I loved hearing how your corporate journey led to the six-figure niche system in the end and how you're supporting both entrepreneurs and the next generation through the Young Hustle Hub.
Oh, and let me tell you, there is stuff they are coming out with that blows my mind.
I bet.
I obviously can't go into detail because a lot of it is not under NDA, but it's, it's very early stage, embryonic, brilliant business ideas. And I I'm so proud of what they're creating that, I think it's very easy for people to think the younger generation is sitting on their hands, faffing about, not doing anything, playing on social media and playing on games. But honestly, the stuff that they are generating right now it blows my mind. I'm dead proud of what they're creating. Yeah.
And thanks to you as well for that happening and giving them the chance to do that. So thanks so much, Vic. And all of you listening out there, if today's conversation has inspired you to think differently about your own voice in business, remember this is the work that, in a way, both myself and Vic do. Vic through her marketing and her community work and her work with the Young Hustle Hub and the six-figure niche if you're already in business. I'll remind you that you can find the details of that in the show notes. And it's what I do through my Be Truly Heard program as well. So you'll find more details of how to join us on that if you're interested. So until next time, keep speaking up, keep taking up space, and keep being truly heard. Thanks for listening to Be Truly Heard. If something landed with you today, share it with a friend or leave a review. It really helps more women to find their voice. Want to go deeper? Join my email list for exclusive tips, resources, and invitations to events. You'll find the link in the show notes. Until next time, remember, your voice is powerful. Let's make sure it's truly heard.